Hey everyone. So I'm not one to do videos addressing anything that's not important or political. I am always sticking to the issues, and I don't like drama. I think it's detrimental to our movement. I think some people feed off of it. Narcissists feed off of it. Oh, Tim Black's live, guys. So I have to, though, however, address the situation that's been happening because people are pissing me off. And I'm going to go Cardi B on their ass. Okay, not really. But I am having to address the situation because within the Bernie movement, as many of you have seen, there are several people who have been promoting this whole vote blue no matter who thing in the primary, right? In the primary. We're still in the primary. And they've been promoting this whole idea. The problem with that is when you do that when we're still in the primary, you are literally demoralizing people. You are literally preventing people from fighting before they even start. It is completely dangerous for people to be doing that. These people, and I'm going to name them, and I never do that. But I'm going to do it this time because I'm sick and tired of these people. They are members of the California Democratic Party. They have some sort of influence within this party, and they are detrimental to the cause that we are all trying to achieve. This is not about them. This is not about me. This is about all of us collectively getting Bernie Sanders to be president of the United States of America. And if you are in the way of that, I will absolutely make sure that people are made aware that you are a detriment to this movement. So, Tanya Singh and Ryan Skolnick have been on a fanfare of promotion for Vote Blue no matter who. They are saying you can't be Bernie or bust if you care about immigrants or people of color. They are completely gaslighting people of color who disagree with them by deleting them or blocking them and completely killing the conversation. That is gaslighting. When other people of color disagree with you, you at least have to hear them out. And this isn't about identity politics. I literally am the number one person that speaks out against it. But I will say this, I don't ever use my identity as a weapon. Other people like to, I don't. I have rarely ever said personal things because I'm a reserved person. I'm not a person that likes to list my personal things on air. But I will say this. I'm an immigrant. My parents came to this country escaping a sort of, like I said before in my Bernie story, a terrorist state where their lives were in danger and they felt compelled to come to the United States. My dad had to do jobs that he was a professional that he wouldn't have had to do back home. So when people start their little antics using, oh, well, if you're an ally and you're just going to vote for anybody because our goal is to defeat Donald Trump. Where the hell were you when Obama set up these cages to put these kids in? Where were you when he was the number one deporter? I am not saying that Donald Trump is not a nemesis, that Donald Trump is not what he represents, this division and this hatred. But you don't care about those people. You are weaponizing those people if you continue to vote for the same things that led to his election. Donald Trump, again, and I will say this forever until people understand, is a symptom of the problem. He is not the root cause of this problem. The reason he was elected is because people were unaware. If Hillary Clinton had won, people would still be asleep. A lot of us were asleep. I voted for Obama. I thought Obama was going to bring me hope and change and all of this bullshit that ended up not being true. So I'm not blaming people for not talking about it then. I am saying you cannot ignore that Donald Trump is a symptom of this problem. And you cannot use that to vote shame people because they believe that this is it. And that brings me to another point. Okay, we can talk about what Obama has done. We can also talk about what the neoliberal and the neocons have been doing since Reagan and even before that. The regime change wars that we have engaged in. And then after the regime change wars, we enacted neoliberal policies like the crime bill. Joe Biden did that. You expect me to vote for the guy who wrote the crime bill? Are you freaking kidding me? And then to vote shame people for saying no. Enough is enough. Our planet is dying. People are in the streets. I went to a city council meeting yesterday where there were people complaining about the fact that they couldn't run on their trail because there were homeless people around. That's the problem with society. People only care about themselves. We need to start caring about each other. It's not just someone else's problem. We're not just going to push the problems onto someone else. One person isn't going to magically solve the problem. It's going to take all of us to solve this problem, which is what Bernie Sanders constantly talks about. And, when I see these people who have such cushiony spots within the California Democratic Party as delegates and are part of committees, telling people with some sort of authority that they have no right to demand demand an end to this whole duality of left versus right, blue versus red, Republican versus Democrat, that's not solving the issue. That's like that is what this movement was about. This movement was never about electing or being loyal to the Democratic Party. What Bernie Sanders started was he ignited a fire within all of us to fight for what we believe in. And what these people are doing is absolutely detrimental to our movement. And it's absolutely disgusting. And they're one of many. I'm signaling them out because a lot of people have been messaging me, telling me, just how they're uncomfortable, how they don't trust them, et cetera, et cetera. And I live in California. I know these people. They're not people that are on our side. And you can make your own assumptions. And this is why I don't ever engage in these things. But I will tell you this, the activists here, the grassroots, we know who the grassroots are. We know who does the work. I don't have to sit there and list names. But the fact of the matter is, I don't have time to make a video about this bullshit. Okay? And I don't want to. This is the last thing I'm probably ever going to say about them. But Tanya Singh is a pathological liar. She is a narcissist. She has made up lies about people I care about. She has called one of my friends who is half Palestinian, compared her to Elizabeth Warren. She has literally almost helped one of my other friends who works for actual criminal justice reform, by the way. Tanya's not doing any of that. She's going in as visitors and has had possible relationships. She's been accused of having relationships with a Nazi. And this is all like, I'm saying this for a specific reason. And after that, I'm not ever going to talk about it again. But the reason I'm saying all of this is because there are people in the progressive movement who want that sort of notoriety, who want that power. It happens in every movement. This is why the movements die, because egos come in and they take it over, and then it becomes about them and not about the cause. And we need to stop that where we see it. We need to stop it. And I've never been one about call out culture, but again, this is something that I have to do. So I apologize if you think this is petty. I don't care, because this has to be said. And, we need to stop this idea that we're going to vote shame people for understanding that this is the fight of our lives. This right now is the election of our lives. This is the most important election ever. And if we start giving people an inch and saying, well, maybe, Harris won't be as bad and we can push Biden and even Warren, they're all part of the same system that led to Donald Trump. The system isn't working. Let me tell you. Retail shops and restaurants in Pasadena and across the state and across the country are closing left and right. We are on the brink of recession, and I've talked about this on Combo Couch and on Twitter. We are on the brink of recession. The stock market is starting to show that. I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but I am trying to get through to people's heads that this is not any other election. This isn't something we can just be sort of incremental about. There is no middle ground. There is no middle ground. There is no middle ground. I don't know how many times you have to hear it, but that's it. That's the fact. There is no middle ground. And the fact is that if we start giving in when this is the time to fight, this is the time where we have the primary, where people are going to fight to show us why we should elect them. If you start telling people that it doesn't matter as long as it's a Democrat, you are literally causing them to lose their morale. You are making them feel like what they're fighting for isn't worth it, that it's dangerous. And we can't have that. We can't do that. We need to fight harder than we've ever fought before to elect a progressive. And, you know, I'm going to go and tell you guys up front who I'm going to vote for and who I'm not going to vote for. I'm voting for Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard if she somehow makes it as into the general. Besides those two people, I am not voting for them. Why? Because I can't vote for people who take corporate PAC money. Elizabeth Warren has said she's willing to do it in the general. And because also I know that pretty much those two are the only ones that can beat Donald Trump. And you can argue with me about it. You can message me later. You can say I'm wrong. You can say whatever you want. But if there's one thing I'm good at, is at predicting certain things and following my gut and seeing the big picture, because when you do media and journalism, you have to look at the whole picture. And in talking to several people, I see that there is no middle ground. We are on a brink of recession. It's affecting the stock market now. We have no more time to deal with the climate crisis. People are sick and tired of politicians who are status quo, who are telling them the same bullshit and thinking that they're going to still, it doesn't matter because it's Donald Trump. That didn't work the first time. It's not going to work this time. So you don't get to tell me that I don't care about kids in cages, because I do care about kids in cages. That's a very personal ordeal to me. You don't get to tell me that, but you also don't get to manipulate people based on that, because we need to solve the problem and nobody's really tackling the huge issue. Immigration is directly related to our war. Immigration is 100% related to our involvement in other governments. So people who want to go to us to give humanitarian aid in Venezuela, bullshit. Humanitarian aid, if we cared about humanitarian aid, we would have gone to Yemen a long time ago. We don't care about humanitarian aid. We only care about what suits us. And if you're going to continue voting for politicians that have the same kind of mentality, you might as well vote for Donald Trump, because that man will win. That man will win even greater than he has before. And you know what? That's the last thing I want. That is precisely what I don't want. It is because I don't want that, that I will fight against people who stand in the way of that, who are frauds. And that's it, you guys. I have to say that. Do not let these vote blue, no matter blue people come in and you know, kind of make you feel like this isn't fighting for, and this isn't worth fighting for. And it is. This is our lives are in danger. I can't tell you, living in Los Angeles, the poverty that I'm surrounded next to the luxury. That is one of the things that literally changed my life. Just seeing how some people don't care, and going to the border, hearing these people's stories as to, hey, why are the Hondurans coming in? Oh, because, you know, Manuel Zelaya was ousted out by Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in 2009, and then our country went to shit. You can talk about the Middle East and say a similar story. You can talk about multiple countries and say the similar story. And the fact is that we cannot ignore that. And I love this country. I do. But I'm not going to be some sort of patriot that doesn't want this country to actually improve and be free for all of us, not just the people that are privileged enough. This is not a fight between Republicans and Democrats. Understand that. This is a class war. We are in a class war. This is about us versus the 1%. That is the fight we are having. And it seems like this is ridiculous. It seems like this is Game of Thrones. It seems like this is impossible. How are we going to do this? It seems impossible. It does. But I think there's a reason why everything has culminated till this point, and there's a reason why the people are starting to rise up, and we need the people to rise up even more. By the way, you guys aren't alone here. We're not alone. Governments and in Argentina and Uruguay, and you saw in Spain, you saw how Cuba is being their own country for once. You see how Venezuela refuses to let us in there. You're seeing the rise of these countries that are done with the imperialism. And again, like, I love this country, but I want us to mind our own business and stop policing the world. And I think the people that represent that are the people I'm going to vote for. The people that want to continue bombing children abroad and don't care, those people I'm never going to vote for, because I'm going to stop being a pawn. You're not going to get to manipulate my emotions by telling me that I have to vote for the lesser of evils again, because if I don't do that, then I don't care about minorities. I am a minority. I am a woman. I have family directly impacted. You don't get to tell me that. So I'm not going to vote shame you. If come the general, you decide if Elizabeth Warren is the nominee and you want to vote for her, fine. That's your prerogative. But what I am going to say, that if come the general, if they cheat Bernie Sanders, I am not only not going to vote for the nominee against Bernie's wishes, because I love that man, but we need to fight. The time's up. And I'm not just going to fight and not vote for these people. I'm going to ask everybody to rise up and take to the streets, take to the convention, and literally not let these people continue getting away with this. Form another party. Other countries have multiple parties. The United States is way behind. It is about time, because people are dying because they can't afford their medication. People are dying because they'd rather kill themselves than be in debt because of the money they can't pay to their doctor. People are dying because they're still at war. They're still at war. We have soldiers still being deployed. Freaking Tulsi Gabbard is being deployed in Indonesia. She's serving her time. I mean, we still have a war economy. We still have all of these things that are plaguing us. There are people on the sidewalks and other people saying, push them out here. City council saying, push them over there. This is not okay. And that's why I'm Bernie or bust. And I will be Bernie or bust. And I will not be shamed for being Bernie or bust. Because it is being Bernie or bust that it's going to take for these elites and these politicians and these pundits who are literally smearing Bernie at every chance they get, because they know that their time's up. They know that they're in danger. It's going to take us to be that. It's going to take us to have the strength to stand up to these people, because they have endless amounts of money. We can't compete with the money, but we can compete with our attitude, with our passion. And I have not met more passionate people than all of you who are for Bernie and who are for Tulsi and who want actual change, actual policies to help all of the people that are endangered. And that, of course, includes people in our prison system, people who are being shot by law enforcement. It includes the children in cages. It includes the people, the refugees seeking asylum that should be granted complete asylum when they get here. Yeah. Like my family was. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us demanding that. So I just want to say, do not let anybody bring you down or make you feel that this isn't worth it. Because it is. This is the most important thing that you can focus on right now. And talk to people, because I've been talking to people about Bernie, and a lot of people just don't feel like he can win. People who aren't political. But guess what? We have to fight that narrative, because he is the one that can win. And we have to be the ones to continue that conversation, to talk to as many people as we can, to prove to all of these people that we can and we will succeed. And if we don't succeed, at least we will have tried everything in our power to have done it. And at least that will change something. But giving in this early, that's not an option. There's no room for that. So thank you very much for watching. I know you guys have a lot of comments and I can't really read all of them. Yes, I mean, a lot of the Green Party, if not all of them, are to the left of Bernie. But here's the thing. The reason I am Dem enter versus Dem exit, and I switch to vote Democrat, I switched as a Democrat because I don't want to have issues, is because I feel like this is the last chance I'm giving the Democratic Party. This is the last chance that I think they deserve. After this, you bet your ass I'm going to be entirely independent. If they screw this again, believe me, I'm not the only one. I know that. A lot of us are going to be, and that's it. And, you know, there's no way. I'm not going to vote for these people anymore. And shame on anybody who makes you feel like that's wrong. Shame on anybody who makes you feel like that's imperfect, that you don't care. I know you care. I know you care. That's exactly why you feel this in your heart. It's in here. And, you're right. No middle ground. I'm trying to read some of your comments, you guys. Some of you guys make me laugh. Yeah. Well, just do what you can. And I know a lot of us feel overwhelmed, myself included, a lot of times that there's not enough that you're doing. You need to be able to do more things. But at the same time, take care of yourselves too. You're needed in this fight. So make sure to have self-care. I know a lot of you really, really, really need to do that because we're all so busy in our activism or volunteering or doing whatever that, we sometimes don't take care of ourselves, and I'm guilty of that too. So just remember to do that. And I will fight every step of the way with you guys. And one more thing I want to remind of you. When we are selecting delegates to represent Bernie Sanders, let's make sure we select delegates who are going to be dedicated to him, who aren't going to turn I then go for somebody else. And I intend to run as a Bernie delegate. That's my intention. So, I will definitely not sell out. So, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, any concerns, message me. I am trying to read all my messages. Not me, us. Remember that. It's not about us individuals. It's about us as a whole. And let's get this man into the White House. Let's do whatever it takes. Work with people we might not like. But when you see something that isn't morally right, it is your right to call it out too. It's your right to do something about it. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.